Okay, everybody, Virgo here, September 30th, 2019, and I'm going to be going over with you something that is rather important as one of the ATF's most wanted was arrested, and the actual news just came out over the weekend from the Courier. So I'm going to be going over that with you. This is a SovCit individual and has the ideology that we follow on this particular channel, so I want to make sure everybody's aware of it. This was a particularly dangerous person. Also, I want to talk to you guys about what's going to be going on for this week real quick. This will be my last upload for today because I am currently working on a bombshell report that you guys are going to want to see in the middle of this week. I'll be putting up a premiere to let you know when this is actually going to be going up for those of you that are having trouble getting notifications. This is about the beginnings and who heads up, or who really heads up, the actual Moorish American consulate. Again, something you're not going to want to miss. And for those of you that watch this channel just to get information because you are followers of the actual Moorish American consulate, or Sharon Tracy Gale Bey, or Light Tajiri Bey, or Taj Tariq, or Shalimar Bey, you're going to want to see this even worse. Trust me. All right, everyone. So just so that you know, that is going to be coming this week. Again, it is a bombshell. It's going to shock you, chances are. So something that you guys need to be aware of so that way, when you see the premiere come up, you can be aware of when it's going to be scheduled to be posting. We're also going to be, of course, having our wonderful Snoop for Truth on Thursday. And I have several other things I'm going to be going over this week with you guys that are not nearly as exciting, but also important. So that's kind of an overview of the week for you guys. Wanted you to know what I was working on. And let's get into this. The Courier has released from their crime and courts section of their paper this ATF most wanted list gentleman that was actually apprehended. And I don't know why it took them so long to actually report on this, but I want to make sure that you guys are aware of what happened. So a former Iowa and Minnesota man who was at large for almost 8 years will be allowed to act as his own attorney to challenge federal gun charges stemming from an incident in Howard County in 2011. Now, let me just interject this real quick. So as you see, these charges were from 2011. So when we talk about people like Winston Shroud, who has decided that he was going to go on the lam, and we talk about people who have not yet been picked up, even though they've been consistently running cons and scams like Harvey Dent in April and June, people like Texas Paralegal Guy, and others that we witness all over the place, okay? These con artists, they're just working on borrowed time. Whether they, decide that they're going to try to skip bail or they don't turn themselves in, or whether they're running scams and have not actually been picked up yet, doesn't mean anything because eventually they get caught up. And that is exactly what has occurred with this particular gentleman, Michael Dean Strain. So this is a good example of how long, unfortunately, it can take from time to time for people in law enforcement to step in and stop this stuff. U.S. Marshals said that Michael Dean Strain, 62, formerly of Lime Springs and Elma, ascribes to the SovCit beliefs, claiming laws don't apply to him. And since his July arrest on the ranch in Montana Crows Indian Reservation, Strain has been largely silent during his appearances in U.S. District Court in Cedar Rapids. Here is a picture of Michael Dean Strain. He called the proceedings against him a, quote, kangaroo court, and once answered a judge's question by asking, should I be intimidated by you communists? That changed during a September 9th hearing where the matter of his ability to represent himself in court came up. According to court documents, Strain told the magistrate, Mark Roberts, he had completed 5 years of law enforcement training, although he has never worked in law enforcement, and he said he represented himself in state court in Minnesota. Roberts found Strain knowingly waived his right to an attorney and understood the possible consequences of acting as his own attorney. Roberts also appointed attorney Samuel Cross to be a standby for Strain's case. Another Minnesota man, Joseph Howard Yenny, attempted to intervene in Strain's case. Yenny, who signed his name Joseph Howard, of the Yenny family. How many times have we seen this? On a writ of habeas corpus challenging jurisdiction, asked to present facts and documents and end the damages occurring to Michael Duane of the Strain family. Here we have a picture of the tactical vest and a go bag that was put together by Michael Strain, and that, of course, was a court exhibit. A magistrate turned down Yenny's motion, calling it incomprehensible and saying that section of the United States Code that it referred to doesn't exist. Strain also filed a lawsuit alleging he was being held unlawfully, backed by a notice of expatriation he filed in Minnesota in 2000. A judge dismissed the suit. Court records show Strain's current legal troubles have roots in March of 2001 traffic stop in Pine Island, Minnesota. A state trooper tried to pull over his Chevrolet pickup truck for expired license plates. The truck kept going for about half a mile until it stopped at a home on a gravel road where Strain's passenger lived. The trooper found Strain had a revoked driver's license and an unrestrained child in the vehicle. Strain told authorities he didn't pull over because he was a sob said. And he talked about the government's inability to tax him and require a driver's license, records state. That resulted in charges of fleeing, intent to escape tax, driving after revocation, and driving without insurance. A jury found him guilty during a trial where he acted as his own attorney, and when authorities detained him following the verdict in Red Wing, Strain said he had a handgun in his truck and wanted to call his brother to take possession of it. Deputies responded by having a canine officer check his vehicle, and officers found a .357 with Strain engraved on the barrel, a .22 caliber handgun, a foot-long piece of capped PVC pipe, and a smoke bomb. A bomb squad was called in from St. Paul, and an X-ray determined the pipe was packed with black powder and utility blades, according to court records. Strain initially told authorities the pipe was filled with sand for weight, but when police indicated they intended to cut it open and asked if there would be safety issues, he admitted it held gunpowder. He said it was packed that way to keep it dry, court records state. Investigators noted such precautions aren't needed to store black powder and didn't explain the razor blades. Officers said the blades were likely designed as shrapnel to injure people and noted the smoke bomb fuse could have been inserted in the pipe to detonate the device. A subsequent search at Strain's house turned up a short-barrel shotgun, according to court records. Strain was arrested on explosives and firearms charges, and a jury found him guilty. When it came time for sentencing, the state noted that Minnesota State Trooper, who originally pulled him over in Pine Island, and a judge had received bogus lien abatement documents, despite a court order barring Strain from filing illegal liens and judgments. Strain was sentenced to prison. After prison, Strain had a few minor driving citations in Minnesota, and records indicate he had moved to Lime Springs, Iowa by 2009. Details about the current charges that landed Strain in federal court weren't available. Court records show he was ticketed for a seatbelt violation and arrested for misdemeanor interference in Howard County in a July 14, 2011 incident. What followed on July 29, 2011 was an apparent search warrant where authorities found 13 firearms, revolvers, shotguns, and bolt-action rifle, and a semi-automatic pistol allegedly in violation of law prohibiting Strain from possessing guns because of his prior convictions. A federal grand jury handed up an indictment in connection with the firearms in October of 2011, but Strain was apparently nowhere to be found. In the years that followed, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms placed him on its top 15 most wanted list for the agency's Kansas City field office, and there were sightings in Minnesota, Wyoming, and Utah. Federal marshals appealed to the public for information in June of 2019. On June 26th of 2019, ATF agents received a tip that placed Strain in Montana and contacted the marshals. Strain was detained without incident around 6 p.m. on July 3rd of 2019 on a remote ranch near Gary Owen on the Crow Indian Reservation in southern Montana, a few miles south of the Little Bighorn Battlefield National Monument, according to marshals. Court records indicate authorities found numerous guns on the Montana ranch, as well as ammunition and several go bags packed with essentials in the event of a hasty retreat. In addition to the charges from the 2011 Iowa case, Strain faces charges for the weapons found when he was arrested in Montana. An indictment unsealed last week in U.S. District Court in Billings, Montana, charges Strain with possession of firearms and ammunition by a person who had previously renounced United States citizenship. He was also charged with being a fugitive in possession of firearms and possession of firearms by a person with a prior conviction. Let's talk about this expatriation. So one of the things that April LeJeune likes to talk about in her packages, all of the time Anna Von Reitz is talking about expatriation. Yes, expatriation actually means you're giving up your rights along with your citizenship, folks. Absolutely insane that anybody would go this route knowing. So I have to assume that this party followed somebody like these ding-dongs that run around on social media claiming that these things can be done and somehow set you outside of the jurisdiction of the United States law. It doesn't work. It never works. It never has worked. And there isn't one single case that has been won because of these arguments. Regardless, people continue to try, and now it's spreading to other countries, as we saw in my previous video. But we're seeing that law enforcement is starting to catch up with the majority of these people. Funny enough, we were talking earlier about the fact that I'm going to be exposing the consulate and the leaders of the consulate this week, and it's going to be very interesting when these people that are following the consulate notice things like what's in this particular article. In this case, this man is facing additional time because of the fact that he was filing false liens. It's a world of hurt, ladies and gentlemen. World of hurt you're going to get yourself in by following these con artists. But yet, we still see people joining these groups and following these people, somehow thinking that it's going to get them out of trouble, when in reality, it's going to get them in deeper trouble. All right, everyone, we'll stay on top of this, and I'll let you know if anything else comes out. I hope everybody has a wonderful day. If you've got questions or comments, please put them in the comment section, or as always, you can email me at virgotriad@protonmail.com. Everybody have a great day. Bye-bye.